really do appreciate it and appreciate the input. And some of you have been here every every meeting, so that's great, you know. But I'd also like to thank the board for doing the work that they have done, and it's really been appreciated, all the board members that have been here, and so I want to thank the audience, to thank the board for being here and doing this work. So I passed out the audience feedback, so you got that. What I'd like you to do right now is to go over your notes and look at your I guess look at your notes and your comments that you've made, and then what I'd really like to see is your ranking of the candidates. I would like to see you rank 1, 2, and 3. So I want you to rank your number 1, your number 2, your number 3, and write it down in front of you, and then I'm going to just come around and take a look before we start our discussion. Okay, so what I'd like to do, let me get myself situated here. First of all, the other thing I'd like to say is I thought all the candidates did a really nice job. The presentations were different, but yet they were good, and they all had a different flavor. You could see a little bit of differences in the candidates, couldn't you? And that's kind of what that is designed to show. But what I'd like to do, if you wouldn't mind, and you guys can tell me, I'd like to just start with somebody, and we could do it in alphabetical order if you want to, from the back.
Okay.
No, I was just messing with Tom.
I'm used to it reverse.
Yeah, reverse alphabetical order. Because whenever you say alphabetical order, he always goes like, "Oh, good, I'm last." So, but then I
always
said
went to
reverse.
last in school.
Okay. Okay, let's start with Blaine. Let's just name your 1, 2, and 3, and then maybe comments along the way.
Okay, the first one's Ben Williams. The second one's Mary Ann. And then the third is Dominic. And this has been a hard decision for me the last couple of weeks. But I got left the board. I didn't think we could do it like a superintendent, like a earthquake. But done a lot of studying and stuff. And I think we had some good candidates. They had different things. But I think what I'm looking for is a superintendent. I think that Ben Williams probably comes the closest to, being what I think we need.
All right. Tom?
I think same order. Number 1, Ben Williams. Second, Marion Sear. And third, Tommy Seymour. And again, just a few comments. I think Mr. Williams frankly nailed a lot of the questions. He was spot on. I think he's demonstrated through his experience both at Saline, a larger school district, and the district that he's at now, the leadership and both managerial and strategic management that I'm particularly focused on. I think he could really help us move at the speed we need to move. I think Dr. Sear has remarkable qualifications and is remarkably well-versed. In addition, has the span from covering K through 12 is really exceptional, but that central administration experience is just a critical key.
Okay. Deborah?
I think when we went into tonight, we were all pretty solid on the 3 candidates. I also have the same order written down. Ben Williams, number 1, Mary Ann Sear, number 2, and Donnie Seymour, 3. I do believe that Ben Williams is a good fit for our district. I believe his background and his experiences and the fact that he is a superintendent, even though he's in a small district. I think he's worn a number of hats, and having that knowledge of the other jobs, I think he'll, once he's here, and the number of administrators that he has to work with as far as central office, school improvement, and the vast amount of support that he will get, I believe that he will be able to accomplish any goals that we set together as board and superintendent team.
Okay.
And I was disappointed by Mary Ann Steer with her presentation. I expected more of an overall scope and look at this district, and didn't really appreciate just a IB program from her school where she's coming from. I liked his presentation and the fact that he took time to set goals and tell us how he wanted to start the job as superintendent.
Okay, thank you. John?
Well, I have the same three rankings. I have Ben, Mary Ann, and Donnie. From the last interview that we had, I kind of stole something from one of the candidates, and that was actually from Mary Ann. And when she talked about it at the beginning of her interview, at the end of her interview the first time, and then at the end of it this time, the three things were passion, timing, and fit. And I kind of measured all three of the candidates according to that. In not only the answers to the questions on Ben, but in the background research that was done, everything lined up from his answers to his questions, to his presentation, to what people said about him, all was intact. And so I see a real passion from him. I see the timing being good. He talked about last time in his interview going from a high school of 1900 to getting superintendent experience to move to the next level. So the timing in his life, I see that as being where it would go. And then as far as fit goes, I see him as being a very articulate, very good representative of our district that has a vision and a passion and the education to back that up. And so I think the fit is right where it needs to be. I really liked Mary Ann, and I think she is very knowledgeable, and I think she's going to make some district a great superintendent. I just think that going from an elementary principal into a brand new district it would be a little bit overwhelming for her at this particular time, the size of our district. And I know some people say, well, we just had that in the superintendent, but we also had an elementary principal that had 42 years of Taylor knowledge moving into that situation. So there's a little bit different. It's not apples with apples. So that was my reason why I made the choice that I did.
Ron?
I have the same three: Ben Williams, Mary Ann Steer, and Donnie St. Moore. I mean, just to sum it up short and sweet, Ben Williams seems like a very well-rounded individual. I had said it when we first talked about him coming from a rural community, the things he accomplished, community engagement, things like that. Those people, as opposed to people maybe not from a rural community, it gives you some experience that you'll remember. And I think that, the only way to sum it up, he's a very well-rounded individual. I liked his answers, I liked his presentation. Not that Mary Ann's wasn't good, it was. I think that lack of the central office scares me a little bit.
Okay. Douglas?
I just, on a basic point system, I had Ben and Mary Ann tied. They both have, they just, Ben's just all the way around just a great. I mean, he's just, his answers were on point. Just everything about him was on point. Mary Ann, exactly what everybody else said. It's just she's coming from a principal's position. Does she, exactly what John said, she's going to make a great superintendent but I think Ben is more suited for this district.
So,
Could I just say something?
yes,
too?
Deborah.
I agree with Mary Ann. would be possibly good for our assistant superintendent of curriculum position. If she wanted to move to a bigger district and get experience and not necessarily go right into a superintendent position, that might be a good fit for her and Ben to work together. So when we have those interviews for the assistant superintendent of curriculum, if she's interested, I would strongly encourage her to apply.
Okay. Good. So what I'm hearing honestly is basically all six felt like Ben is the fit and the choice. And so the question is are you ready with the reference checks that were done and everything that is done, has been done? Are you ready to extend an offer? Do you want to do that? Do you want to do more checking? Do you want to call more people? I'm sure there's some people we could call.
Do you think, in your experience of doing the background check, that we could possibly be in a situation where there's a gotcha out there that we don't know about with him?
You know, I ended up talking to about 8 people up there, and I feel like I know a lot of things about Ben and about the 4 or 5 years he spent up there, and I mean, there are some things that he did that were not great right at first. I mean, he made mistakes along the way. He learned, I think that's the biggest thing that I heard from the ISD superintendent is that as there were little things that went wrong, he picked up on it and fixed it and moved on and did some things better. And so he felt like he had gotten some of the